It is now my great pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, General Frank J. Grass. General Grass serves as the 27th Chief of the National Guard Bureau and as a member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In this capacity, he serves as a military advisor to the President, Secretary of Defense, National Security Council, and is the Department of Defense's official channel of communication to the governors and state adjutants general on all matters pertaining to the National Guard. He is responsible for ensuring that nearly 460,000 Army and Air National Guard personnel are accessible, capable, and ready to protect the homeland and to provide combat resources to the Army and Air Force. General Grass enlisted in the Missouri Army National Guard in October 1969. He attended the Missouri Army National Guard Military Academy Officer Candidate School and was commissioned in the Engineer Corps in 1981. Between 1988 and 1999, General Grass was an assistant professor of military science here at Missouri State University, and in 1997 he received his Master of Science in Resource Planning from Missouri State University. Please join me in welcoming General Frank Grass to the podium.
Well, President Smart, thank you for those kind words. To the class of 2016, it is quite an honor to be back here with the Bears, back here at Missouri State University, and to see the progress this great university has made since I left here, and I have stayed in contact. But I want to say, first of all, right up front, congratulations for your dedication and for your accomplishments here today. To the Board of Governors, to the Provost, to the Vice President, thank you so much for your dedication to higher learning, to education. I've seen you take this university from what was Southwest Missouri State University when I was here, and I thought it was outstanding, and to a whole new level of our graduates, and now even at the national level, where we have men and women attending master's degrees in the National Capital Region that will receive degrees from Southwest Missouri State University. I am a Missouri native, and it's always nice to get back to Missouri. But I will tell you, one of the fondest memories I have is living right here in Springfield and working and teaching ROTC right here on this campus. We truly, Pat and I both, truly made a home here. And I know we're going to retire before too long. We're going to Columbia. I know that's that other university. But this one will always have a special spot in our hearts. You know, in the military, we have a rule, and it's about speeches. It's called the power of 3 B's. Be brief, be good, and be gone. Now, generals don't normally abide by those rules, but I'll do my best today to do that. You know, after almost 47 years now, coming up, I know the math majors out there are doing the calculations right now, right? Business math, you're figuring out he's an old guy. But I will tell you that I would have never imagined, whether it was when I enlisted or when I was here on this campus, that I would be standing before you today as a 4-star general, a member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In fact, my family and friends and parents would have never imagined it either. But I will tell you, as you all know, graduates, that your family, your friends, the great faculty on this campus have set you on a path for success to the future. One of my successful accomplishments took me a long time to get that master's degree, if you saw the dates in there, because I got shipped overseas and had a little bit of trouble getting the thesis done. You know, the classroom part was easy. The thesis, it took me a while. But one of the great stops I had was being able to complete a master's degree and continue my lifelong learning. And I really picked that up here at this university. Your education here from Missouri State University is a world class. It will pay you benefits for a lifetime. I can tell you things I do today at the Pentagon or on Capitol Hill or when I go to the White House. Many of the techniques, the modeling, many of the initiatives that we look for a vision in the future came right here when I was working on my master's. You know, this world-class university, it's a great academic experience, and they have some foundational principles I'd like to talk about today just briefly. Ethical leadership, cultural competence, and community engagements. And none of you, that shouldn't be foreign to any of you here. Let me start with ethical leadership, which is all about doing what's right. And graduates, as you go out into the business world, many of you are going to be challenged at times, whether you want to be or not. The world will challenge you to do the right thing. And you've got to do the right thing. That ethical leadership that you've learned right here is so critical. And it doesn't make a difference whether it's in the public sector or private sector, whether it's because of a fiscal challenge you're dealing with, or maybe it's just the easy way to do things. Remember your ethical leadership that you learned right here. This ethical leadership develops trust, faith, and teamwork. You know, from my military experience, those three are critical to what we do every day. That trust, that faith. It's so critical, and teamwork to what we do on the battlefield, what we do as a National Guard when we support the first responders here at home. No matter what your career field will be, always remember that ethical leadership, that trust that you will build, because once you lose it, you can never gain it back sometimes. The second foundational principle, cultural competence. Be a global citizen. That's the world you live in. That's the world you're going out to. Embrace diversity and inclusion. You know, this thing called global society isn't just out there. It's in every community today, around the world. You don't know where this career you're entering into will take you, but I can guarantee you one thing, it will be a global society that you're entering into. Remain open-minded, welcoming, and ever-consciousness of differing ideas, differing cultures. You know, even after 47 years in uniform, and I've had a chance to visit many cultures, many nations, primarily with their military, but also with their civilian populations. Interacting with that global community has been something, and I'm extremely, extremely proud of having the opportunity, and it's helped me grow every day. I'll tell you a quick story here. Back in 1969, when I joined, it was a draft. I enlisted into the National Guard, and you know where the nation was at that point. Thank goodness we were able to end the Vietnam War in 1975. But I tell you that because about 1 month ago, I was standing in Quarters 9, which is where I live, at Fort McNair, Washington, D.C. And the National Defense University is there. And we have about 50 international students, mid-grade officers that come and educate there. Not only do they come there to get a degree, they also come there to share their experience, their culture. And it's so critical that our military engage with them. So that night, about a month ago, I'm standing there on the front porch farewelling about 50 international students that had come to the house for a social. And one of the young officers from Vietnam came up to me, and we were standing there talking. And she had grown up in Hanoi, serving in the Vietnamese military. And today, the National Guard has a partnership between Vietnam and Oregon National Guard. And they engage, and their focus is on taking care of their citizens in natural disasters. And how do we learn from each other? And I reflected that evening about that, where I joined and where we were today. And I'll tell you, I couldn't be more proud of our nation. But if it wasn't for the diversity, the inclusion, reaching out to cultures, we would have never got there. The third foundational principle that Missouri State University subscribes to is community engagement. Remember your roots. Remember where you came from. That's what got you here. Don't change. You know, I had a 2-star general, as I was pinning on 1 star, a mentor, and all of you will be looking for mentors. And he looked at me and he said, Frank, he said, that star, brings on a lot of responsibility. And sometimes that star can put people off on the wrong path, thinking that you have more authority, you have the responsibility, maybe more authority over people. You've got to earn that respect. You've got to treat people like people. And that's how you got here. And I've always often reminded myself of that as I moved up through the ranks, of where I grew up, what my parents taught me, and that I don't want to change who I am. And I would highly encourage every student out there, don't change who you are. That is how you got here. Now, there's a lot of mentors out there. You all have mentors. You have teachers you've looked up to. You've had government leaders you've looked up to. You've had friends, parents around your community that helped you get here. Now is your time to give back. As you go back to a community, and it may not be the community you grew up in, go back and give back. There's another generation behind you that you have to help. Help them in their pursuit of the education that you have. You can take that information that you've learned here, the knowledge you've learned, the mentoring that you have received, and share that with the community. In the military, we talk about community. In the National Guard, we talk about community. We have to build that community relationship early, whether it's overseas or in our homeland. We don't want to walk up at a disaster and meet the mayor, meet the fire department, the police chief that we're going to be supporting the day we get there. So you have to reach out. You have to seek those community leaders and tell them, hey, I'm here to help. And volunteering is a critical part of that. So, graduates, as you receive your diplomas here today and you leave, you see Springfield in your rearview mirror. Some of you are going to stay. That's great. Whether you're headed off to graduate school, to an internship, to a job, to the military, remember what you accomplished here at this university. Move forward and challenge yourself. Stay focused. Stay on task. When one door closes, look for the next door to open. The world today is open to opportunities for every graduate. Don't get depressed. Build your network of friends around you. Those relationships that you're going to build are going to be lifelong as you enter into the business world. As I look across the class of 2016, I see leaders. I see those who will take our nation and continue on with the proud tradition that the United States of America has had as a world leader. And you are the next generation that's going to carry us through this global society with many challenges, but huge opportunities for our nation. So, as you leave here today, also, I would ask each of you to reach out to your families, to your loved ones, to your spouses, and hug them and thank them. Some of you have been off away to school for 4 years. You're probably a much different person than when you entered here. Your parents might not treat you the same. They understand, though, you have a major accomplishment under your belt. So hug them, thank them, and continue to stay connected with family. And as I close, President Smart, thank you again, sir, for your great leadership and for the opportunity to be here today. For all of the faculty, as I said up front, I have tremendous respect for our teachers, for our professors across the nation that dedicate their life to make sure that you're going to have opportunities that some people maybe would have never gotten if it wasn't for a teacher, for a professor that took time to make sure that you could get the degree you sought. I wish nothing but the best to you all, the class of 2016. Thank you.